Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining the TagoIO 2024 webinar series. We have a good one and a very important webinar for you today, scaling up applications using tags. And I'll speak to that just a little bit more. Excuse me. My name is David Hall. I'm the Customer Success Manager here at TagoIO. And I also have Freddie with me. He is a software developer here at TagoIO that will be doing part of the presentation with me today. So when we talk about the agenda here, welcome, which we just did, tag concepts, why it's important. We're going to have a nice live demo for you. And if there's any questions, go ahead and post them. But let's talk about tags real quick. And Freddie will probably speak to this as well, but tags are a critical component of TagoIO when you're using the application and how you relate it to different things. So that's why this webinar is very important. When I'm speaking to customers all the time, I'm telling them about this tag concept so they can get ahead of the game, right? Also, at the end of this webinar, there's a couple other things I would like to talk about some self-help that is available for you, like available templates and things like that. So I'll go over that shortly at the end of this presentation. But with that, we're going to move on to the next slide, and I will pass it over to Freddie to go through his presentation. The floor is yours, Freddie.
Thank you, David. Right, so today we're going to be going over tags and how to use them to scale up our applications. So tags are one of the core features at TagoIO. It's a flexible and powerful way of organizing and labeling your assets within TagoIO. It allows you to identify and filter through all of your resources. And when I say all of the resources, it is basically, I believe you can add tags even to connectors, for example. So it will help a lot when you're using an analysis in order to filter out the resources that you want and you do not want. So as I just mentioned, you can filter through devices, analysis users, and much more. Blueprint dashboards, which will be used in order to scale up applications. It will use the devices tags as well. And also access management, which will be which is also used to allow users to access your dashboards. And this can be used either with tags with the user's ID, or I believe there's also the any option. So that wouldn't use a tag, that would just allow any user to access the dashboard or device or whatever resource that you've configured in the access management module. So the key features, here are some. There are a lot more, but one of them is, as I mentioned, the blueprint dashboards. So you'll be able to decide which devices will appear on the dashboard according to their tags. The access management, which you'll be able to decide what a user can do according to their tags. You can also store resource characteristics. So you could, for example, use the device list widget or the user list widget, and you can show specific tags of that user or device. And you can also do resource filtering either natively in TagoIO using our interface or via the SDK in an analysis. So why are using tags important? They're important in order for you to drastically scale up your application. So you can either be able to scale up with your users or with your devices or dashboards, for example. It allows you to create hierarchies within your application. So you can have, for example, a device that is the organization. You can have multiple levels of hierarchy. So you can have the first one be, for example, an organization, then a site, then a sensor. So that sensor will have the tags that will connect it to the site and then the site to the organization. This is all done via the tag system. And it also allows you to filter through your resources natively on TagoIO admin or through the API, as I mentioned before. So now let's go to our live demo here. share my screen here. Right. So here I have a profile called Tags Webinar, and I created some dashboards to create an example of how we could scale up an application. So at the moment, I have this dashboard here, device example normal. It's showing the data of a specific device. If I click on edit here, you can see that it is showing the device 1, not using tags, and it's showing the variable temperature. And if I were to have another device, device 2, and I want to show its temperature here with the same dashboard, I would have to go here and create this device example 2 normal. I could create it. This would be the quickest way. I would then go here, edit, duplicate, send it to device example 2, confirm. It will then be here. Then I would hit edit, go here to device, change it to the next device, which I don't have here. So let me just create one more. So device 2, not using tags. Create my device. I'll send some data here. So now it has the temperature value. And now here, after all of that, I can then edit and add the device 2 temperature. So now I have another dashboard, which is showing the same data, but for another device. Both of these dashboards are normal dashboards. As you can see, this won't scale well. If you have, for example, 50 devices and you want to show the same dashboard to the 50 devices, you'll have 50 dashboards here, unless you would, for example, have one widget that would show all of the temperatures. But sometimes you want to duplicate the dashboards. The correct way to do this would be to use the blueprints. So here I have a blueprint dashboard, and I have the blueprint selector here. So if I go here and click edit and go to blueprint settings, I created a selector here, a way to filter our devices using the tags. So what I've created here was I just gave it a name, temperature device. Then I created the tag key device type with the tag value temperature. So what this is going to do is it's going to show all of the devices that have this tag with this value. And here I added the word device. So then going back, we have device, and it's showing 2 devices here. So as you can imagine, if I go here and show the tags of those 2 devices, so these 2 using tags, I open both of them. If I go to their tags, I'll have the tag, device type, and temperature, as well as this one, device type and temperature. So that is what's allowing us to select these devices here. So now if currently I'm seeing the temperature variable of this device while using a single dashboard. If I change to temperature to device 2, I'll see the temperature of its device. And also tags are good for the device list as well. For example, here I am showing all of the devices that have those characteristics. Here, device list filter, blueprint device, device type. So here, this is another characteristics of tags, which is tag match. So here I am tag matching any device that has the temperature device tag with the same tag value as device type. It will show up here. So at the moment, it's looking for device type, which is temperature. If I go back to here, temperature. So what that tag match is doing is it's going to show any device that has the tag device type with its value as temperature. You could do that via the tag match, as I am doing it right now. Or you could also just remove that and just rewrite what you wrote in the blueprint device filter. So if I save that, it'll show the same devices. So it's just a quicker way to get that done. So this would be in terms of the blueprint dashboard. So what about, oh, and also let me show you this. So you can also group dashboards using tags. Since tags are used in basically every resource, these two dashboards here are connected using the tag group and the value device example. So if I were to add this dashboard here, I can go here and click configure, click on tags. I'm going to write group. Let me open this here as well so that I can show you guys. Edit dashboard. So if you go to tags, you can see that there's already group and device example. And then I enabled this here, group dashboards by using tags. So then I pick the group and I disabled include tag and run users. So then if I do the same here, device example, and then group it and save, it will then be grouped here like such. So now let's go over how this would work for users. So I have this user here called user1. If I log into it right now, there will be nothing. That's because I didn't set up the permissions, our access management module. So if I go here and check out the user's tags, I have the group and the user example value, the tag group and the value as user example. So if I go to access and add a new policy, I'm going to call it user access for now. So I need to get the targets. It can either be an analysis or a run user. First, let's see the run user version. So just like the device filter in the device list, we also have tags or tag match, as well as the ID. So I could just pick specifically that user, which you could do, but it's not very scalable. If you have a very small application or just a proof of concept, maybe you could do this, or just for like a mock-up, but you should mainly use tags or tag match. So I'll be using tag match here, since it's the ultimate, it's the most scalable option. Since I can add only the tag and I don't specify the value, so that means that we can have multiple rules inside of a single policy. Otherwise, if I were to use tag group and use an user example, it would only work for this specific value. So if I change to tag match and go to group, I then need to pick what resource I want to give to this user that he'll be able to access. So I'm gonna give him access to the dashboard, to a dashboard. I'm gonna allow him to access and also rearrange the widgets. And I'm also going to use tag match here. So I could, again, you could make it very specific and only give it to tags with only give the user access to dashboards with the user example tag, or you can do it like such. So if the user, so what this is doing right now is if the user's tag is user example and the dashboard's tag is user example, the user will gain access to the dashboard and will also be able to modify the widgets arrangement. So if I save this and hit create and go here and refresh, it should be showing the dashboards like this. This is because if I go here, configure, go to tags, you can see group, user example, and also here, group user example. And I'm also doing the same grouping here as well, just to make it more organized. It looks cleaner. So Now we can see the dashboard, but notice that we don't have any data here. Oh, user example has data. I believe that's because I think normal dashboards already show data. I believe that would be for 71. So if not using tags, yeah, I believe it shows it. It always shows it. So, okay. So now going back to the blueprints, here I have the organization. I'm going to give an example of adding devices to organizations so that if I'm a user of organization 1, I won't be able to see devices from organization 2. Right, so here we have one organization device and it has no devices inside of it. If I go here and edit, I can check out the device list filter. So what this device list is going to do is it's going to show all the devices that have this tag, device type with the value temperature, and it also has the tag organization ID with the value of the tag being the same one as the organization device, which in this case will be organization device, this guy here. So if I go to devices and go to organization device, its ID, what we use as ID at Tago is always this. This is always going to be the same value. So this is why it's going to be its identification. So I forgot to show that. So let me go here, edit mode of the blueprint dashboard, blueprint settings. And here I have organization device. The device type is organization. And here I added organization. So that's why it's showing up here, because this device has the organization, the device type and organization. So the next thing to do would be to add sensors to the device. So let's do that. I'll be adding one device to each organization. So if I get organization device using tags, I'm going to get this one. I'll add the organization ID tag to it. So I'm going to get this tag here, copy it, and paste it to the device 2. So now it has those two filters that we need in order for it to show up in the device list. Once I save this, it's going to show up there. So now I'm in organization device and I'm showing the devices of that organization. I know this device is inside of that organization because it contains that tag. Usually the way that we do this, we add these organization ID tags to a device is through analysis. So in a larger application, you don't have time, or you would have a lot of human error as well. So what you usually do is create an input form, and this input form will have all of the information of that device, including the organization it's in. So then that input form will then call an analysis, and that analysis will create a device with those tags already set up. So then it will all be organized here programmatically. So, and also the organization user list. So if I edit here, edit, and go to the user list filter, you can see that right, exactly. So it's going to show all the users that have the organization ID, the same one, at the same ID value as organization device. So if I go here to devices, organization device, and go to users, I save the ID there. Now go to tags, hit plus, and write organization ID. Instead of writing, all right. I never used it in the user yet, so it's not going to show up in the dropdown. So there's organization ID. Then if I paste it here. So now it's saved. Okay, it's saved. So now if I click out here, click out of this as well, and refresh the page, it'll now show user 1, which is now inside of this organization. But how do I make sure that he is only going to see data of this organization? So at the moment, if we go here and refresh, we won't see anything. This is because we don't have access to the organization device. So now we have to create another policy, a user organization access policy. So now a run user will have access to all of the devices that have the same organization ID as that run user. So if I hit device and also run user, because that dashboard, it has devices here and the run user resources here. So now I give access to blueprints, and I want it to have, so that run user will only have access to devices that have the same organization ID as them. So tag match and tag match. So I hit create. Okay, saved. Now if I refresh here, it should now show the organization device and the device and the user. So I can, for example, create here another organization device real quick. Two. And then organization ID and device type. So organization, and the ID, which is here. Just copy it over, save. So now I have another organization device. So if I go here to the blueprint, I'll now be able to pick two of them, between two of them. But if I go to my run user here, he'll only have access to that organization as our policy, as we expected, since the policy is done that way. Also, another way that the access management is used is also to give access to analysis. So we can do that via the analysis tags as well, for example. So here in this analysis, we have the analysis type and the user example as a value. So if I were to run this here right now, it won't be able to find any users. That's because we didn't create the access management yet. So let's create one here. I'm going to call it analysis access. And I'm going to use analysis here. And just as before, well, actually here I'm going to use tag, and I'm going to use analysis type, and it's going to be user example. Say it like that. Then I'm going to check the analysis and see what it's using. So here it's here we have what we're filtering by. So we're going to get the users. Wait, let me just start here first. So here what we're doing is we're using resources in order to get the list of users. It's going to bring one page. It's going to give us the ID and the tags of that user. And it's going to use a filter. That filter is going to be via tags, as we discussed before. So this time we're using tags within our SDK. So now it's going to bring all the users that have the key group and the value user example. So here I'm going to need to let it access the run users and access. So you can just use any if you don't care about the permissions specifically, or you can let the analysis have access to a specific group of users. So I'm going to do that here. User example. So now if I apply my changes here, and then run the analysis again. Not sure why it's asking me to save. I just want to run it. Right. So now with that analysis, with the permission granted, it now shows the user example here. So that would be all of my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Freddie. Let me go back to the slide. So a couple things. That was very important information there. And just real quick, I would just like to show you on my screen where you can find some of this information on our site. Because again, tags are critical in Tago. They're synonymous with blueprint dashboards and how you're going to scale, right? So real quickly, I'm just on the main site here. You can go to resources, and I'm just going to go over here to developers. There's some quick links here, but I want to show you a couple different things here. So we have the Learning Center. This is free for you to take. There is a charge for the certificate, but if you're interested in the certificate, just ask for a demo on our site. It'll come to me and we could talk about the certificate. But these modules here are really the fundamentals when you're looking at the 100 modules. They're really the fundamentals of Tago. And the 200 modules, you need a little bit of JavaScript experience, but not a lot. You can get through these. This is going to talk about all the different concepts within Tago, including tags, access management, and things like that. So this is really important to get started. And as I said, it's free for you to take at your own pace. If I go back just a little bit more, very quickly, we also have these dashboard templates. These are also free to download. I highly recommend that you use these. Again, I talk to customers all day long. Some customers aren't intimidated by building dashboards from scratch. Others are. It just matters on how comfortable you are. These give you a jump start to inspire you to really get going on Tago. So these are extremely helpful. And last but not least, if you look in resources, we have videos. So not only do we have the Learning Center, not only do we have our Help Center, our community, there's many different avenues to where you could learn Tago or ask questions and interact with the Tago team. But here you can also find quick presentations, past webinars, how-to videos of how to get started on Tago, or if you're interested in a specific area. So with that, I highly recommend the videos, the Learning Center, the Help Center, as I said, are all critical components to get going on Tago. And then, of course, you can create a free account right up here, and you can always ask for a demo. So I encourage you also to ask for a demo. We can go over specific things that you want to go over, or maybe you just don't know. And then I could lead the demo, or my partner, Tiago, will be leading the demo for you. But those are just some quick references I wanted to give you real quick on how you can really get started on Tago. And with that, I think that is a wrap for today. Again, really important information on tags. Please follow us on LinkedIn. You're going to get a lot of good information on LinkedIn, not only just future webinars that are coming up, but main features, events we're attending, all kinds of different information. So I highly recommend follow us on Tago on LinkedIn. You're going to get a lot of information there. But thank you, Freddie. Very good information. And to everybody out there, I really hope you schedule a demo, and I would love to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.